Welcome back for this Maryland Hockey Network presentation on AAU Plus. My name is Andy Parr, joined alongside color commentator Owen Korzak and technical director Bailey Unchester. This evening, we have the final game, the final premier matchup of this 2025 ACC showcase between the Maryland Terrapins and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Both of these squads 1-1 so far on showcase weekend. Wake Forest has a win over Rider and a loss to Rowan. The Terps beat High Point on Friday and lost to UNCW yesterday. So both of these teams looking to exit the weekend with a winning record. Puck drop is set for about 5 minutes from now. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to AAU Plus. This presentation of the Maryland Hockey Network on AAU Plus brought to you by myself, Andy Parr, color commentator Owen Korzak, and technical director Bailey Unchester. We are just about ready for this final premier matchup of the 2025 ACC Fall Showcase. This one between Maryland and Wake Forest. Owen, what should we expect in this one today?
You're going to see a high-scoring game. You got Jack Farrisee, who been, really essentially their best player the past 2 or 3 weeks. He played very well in the series against Penn State and Virginia Tech, and he played very well the past 2 games of this ACC tournament, or ACC Showcase, So Patty Adams is going to be the netminder today for Maryland. And Wake Forest, they're a team that gives up a lot of goals, but they also score a lot of goals. And going up against a backup goaltender, probably going to see a lot of scoring. Maryland, their offense, they've definitely got it going. They struggled a little bit against Penn State. They struggled to score early against Virginia Tech. I think that you're going to see their offense not explode, but I think that they're going to perform above what they have been as of late. It should be a very good game.
Should be a good one indeed. As Owen said, this is the first time this weekend we're seeing backup netminder Patty Adams wearing number 30 in the red. For Wake Forest, it'll be number 31, John Tolvey. And it seems like we're just about ready. This opening faceoff will feature Grant Warner and Carson Dedericks. And here we are, underway from Springfield in the St. James, the final game in the premier level of the 2025 ACC Showcase. Caleb Craven with it for Maryland. Craven carries it through neutral, up ahead for Pilkington. Pilkington takes it in deep. Now at the point, it's Petter. Petter down low for Pilkington. That one skips over his stick. Wake Forest trying to go the other way. It's Dedericks. He can't beat Teskey to that puck. Maryland's captain, Brian Teskey, trying to slow things down with his defensive partner, Petter. Petter up ahead for Pilkington. Pilkington checked off the puck for a moment there by Danaher, but Pilkington collects it again. Tommy Pilkington, a breakout game yesterday against UNCW. He had 2 goals, and they're looking for another one right there. Good feed there from Grant Warner. Him and Pilkington just couldn't quite connect there as Warner skies that one into the netting.
Really good look there from that. I guess you could say it's their first line, really. They kind of go through a few different lines, but, I guess the official first line coming out now. The second line, which, like you said, Tommy Pilkington had a really good game yesterday with 2 goals. It's his first multi-goal game as a Terp for the young freshman, and Caleb Craven had a nice goal against against High Point on Friday.
Absolutely. Caleb Craven, a 2-goal effort against the Panthers, won them a beautiful bottle popper as Harnan was trying to feed body in front. Back to the points, Rakowskis in front. Harnan, a good tip there. Better save from Tolvey. Still loose in front. Body fighting for it. He can't get a stick on it. Terps dangerous right there. John Tolvey coming up with some early saves. Wake Forest now trying to go the other way. Can't get it past Body at the blue line. He'll dump it in again for the Terps offense. First one there is going to be number 16, Frascone for Wake Forest. Battle in the corner. We'll see who comes up with it. Goes to the stick of Body. Body facing some pressure from Frascone. Body evades it to the far side. Leaves on the boards for Schreibman. Schreibman facing a couple of poke checks from Demon Deacons right there. Schreibman trying to keep this one in the offensive zone. Still loose. It gets by Brian Teskey. Eli Petter will reset in neutral for the Terps. Petter with speed on the near side. Petter a shot. Glove save for Tolvey. He'll hold.
Yeah, Petter, nice shot there. He's coming off a game where he scored a goal. Technically, it wasn't necessarily his goal. It was an own goal by the Wilmington goalie, but it got credited to him. He's seeing if he has the hot stick. And I think James Body's a player to watch today. His role has gotten bigger and bigger as the season goes on. He started the season off on the 4th line. He's worked his way up all the way to that first line left wing spot.
Yeah, James Body been very productive, especially on his power play minutes in recent games. James Romps trying to make a power move in front. He got taken down. Wake Forest trying to go the other way. Brian Teskey there to intercept a pass again. Brian Teskey trying to get it through neutral. Dominic Facciano played ahead. Still ends up back with the Terps. Eli Petter trying to connect with Facciano there. 2 of them get crossed up, and this is offside on Maryland.
I'm looking at what I'm seeing from Maryland. They already have 4 shots on goal. Wake Forest hasn't even established any type of offensive possession. I think Patty Adams, I'll go over to what he's doing. He's just standing there. I don't think he's moved since the puck has been dropped. This is really an ideal start for him, not having to do much here about 2.5 minutes into this one.
I have met a lot of goalies in my time around hockey, both calling it and playing it, and Patty is one of the few where I can confidently tell you he does not care if he faces 0 shots in a single day. He will happily take a slow day at the office in the crease. Now the other way, here comes Wake Forest. First one in on the puck is going to be number 28, Nacy. Nacy drop pass there, leaving it for Studert. Studert taken into the boards by Blake Warner. Terps and Demon Deacons fighting for it in the corner. Giant 5-player pileup. We'll see who comes out with it. Chase Wilson really poking at it for Maryland. Still stuck on those boards. Wilson ultimately comes out with it. Wake Forest forced to reset in center. Henry Scriven back there for the Terps, now playing with Andre Serra. Up ahead for Warner. Warner there, taken down. Good check from Frascone, trying to spark something for Wake Forest.
Rare to see Warner with that 6'7" frame of his to be dropped like that.
Not many people in this ACC league can handle Blake Warner and his stature. Good check there from Frascone, trying to establish an early physical presence as that one hits off the Wake Forest bench.
Caleb Craven's stick broke already here in just his second shift. Craven, he's somebody who's been kind of all over the place this year. He started the year as a defenseman. You could say he was in that top pairing. I mean, he started off the year with Sean Aim, and he kind of moved around. He was with Rakowskis at one point. He was with Sarah at one point. And then now he's on the left or the right wing of the second line. Bailey and I, she's not on the call, we talked to Coach Trevor Drake, and they put him on that forward line to kind of spark some offense. They say they really like his one-timer, and he showed that on Friday.
Grant Warner with a shot right there. Good block from number 12, Jackson Gate. Rakowskis trying to spark more offense in the point. Craven was looking for a tip in the high slot. He couldn't get his stick on it. Rakowskis back there again for Maryland. Rakowskis using the boards up for Craven. Craven, a one-touch pass, ends up with Rakowskis. Rakowskis into the offensive zone on the far side. He'll send it towards the net. That one well wide of Tolvey. Pilkington fighting for it on the boards. Comes out with Caleb Craven. Craven to the point for Eamon. He can't handle that pass. Look out here with a little bit of speed comes Grinelli. Grinelli forces Sean Eamon to make a pass right there, and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons just offside on that one as we have a penalty call coming up too. Trail official has spotted a board. It's going to be number 7, Carson Dedricks, going off for Wake Forest, and Maryland's off to the power play early in this one.
Yeah, I think Caleb Craven was the recipient of that board, and he skated off very slowly, very clearly shaken up. See him having a word with head coach Joe Carter. He is looking really uncomfortable, and that's a player that Maryland cannot afford to play without.
And because of that possible injury to Craven, Terps starting with their second power play unit on this one. It's Tommy Pilkington sending it across for Warner. Grant Warner back to the point for Teske. Teske, long-range shot saved by Tolvey. He will squeeze. Michael Schrodman providing the traffic in front, looking for a tip.
And then you were talking about how the second unit is out there. This Maryland power play unit has gotten a lot better as of late. They had, I think, 2 or 3 power play goals in their series against Virginia Tech last week. Virginia Tech, one of the best teams in the ACC. And Maryland, their second unit, they're generating some good chances here early.
Pilkington on the near wall, skating out to the point for Teske. Teske, down low to Warner. Warner, a long-range shot. That one tipped out of play by a couple of Wake Forest players. First one to get a stick on it was number 4, Liam Corwin.
And Maryland, they have a lot of youth in their special teams. You got James Romps, you got Tommy Pilkington, and you got Grant Warner. That's 3 freshmen who they all play both ways.
Grant Warner wins this faceoff. At the point, it's Pilkington back for Teske. Teske surveying his options. Teske moving around that blue line, chooses Warner on the far circle, back for Pilkington. Romps, no! That one fooling the crowd right there. Teske, a point blast, goes just wide. Warner again off the side of the net. Teske trying to keep in at the point. He will for the moment. And then number 19, Landon Dowded, able to force that one over the blue line.
He got a penalty coming up here on Brian Teske. The emotions got the best of him there. He just shoved Landon Doughton, A little uncalled for there from Teske. Mental error there, and now we're going to have a 4-on-4 for the next minute. So a really good opportunity there for Maryland. You got to wonder maybe if Caleb Craven's out there, you put that first unit out there, maybe you net one home. But James Romps, he hit the post. And that was, a really good opportunity. And even after that, you had 2 or 3 chances off of rebounds where they could have put it in. Instead, the score remains equal.
James Romps with the best opportunity on that power play. And then Brian Teske taking the interference penalty puts us at 4-on-4 now. Back with it for Wake Forest, this is Faherty. Faherty up ahead to number 14, Albrighton. Tommy Albrighton, long-range shot, glove save for Patty Adams. He's finally got a save in the books at 14:33 of the first period.
Yeah, and it was a very clean, basic save for Adams. Good to see him, start off with some of those and not having to go across the crease right away.
Nice, easy introduction to the game for Patty Adams right there. Rosado to take this face-off against Harnan.
Talking about youth earlier, and even Maryland, they've got a handful of really talented freshmen. You also got a few really talented sophomores. Harnan, who's about to take the face-off, one of them, he started the year off. Officials having a word.
Officials having a discussion at the scorekeepers table.
As I was saying, though, Harnan started the year off as that first line left wing. Moved to center now just because, Devin Oliver started the season off. He's no longer with the team. He's nursing an injury. So unfortunate there for him. But Harnan has really stepped into the role as the first line center. I'm still a little confused as to what they're discussing. Maybe it's a timekeeping issue, or
they were at the scorekeeper's desk. Then the man who they were just talking to behind the glass was an official in the Virginia Tech versus Penn State game that was just on the ice. Still not 100% sure what that delay was for, but it appears nothing happened. Face off here, won by Rosado. Back at the point, long-range shot there coming off the stick of Albrighton, save for Adams. Here comes Harnan the other way. He's got Duchesne on the near side. Duchesne pumps this one around the boards. Harnan trying to be the first one there. He loses that race to Albrighton, but Duchesne ends up with the puck. Duchesne trying to feed it for Amon. Good break up there from Rosado. Duchesne facing some more pressure from Rosado. Leaves it for Rakowskis. Jack Rakowskis surveying his options. Chooses Harnan on the far side. That pass a little bit long. Collecting it for Wake Forest. That was Ross McKee. Trying to get around the board. Sean Amon is there with Harnan. That pass eludes Travis Duchesne. Duchesne will chase. Now it's officially a penalty kill for the Terps, so Duchesne will take his time and find Harnan. A little bit of a short-handed break, but this will kill more time off the Teske penalty. McKee now trying to get the power play going for Wake Forest. Into the offensive zone, that's number 4, Corwin. Drop pass there back to the point. Harnan intercepts it. Good play there from number 17. He got around Kellen Danaher.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say that was a fantastic stick play by Patrick Harnan.
Danaher on the far side sends it around the boards. Eli Petter will be the first one there, trying to send it out. Doesn't get past Ross McKee. McKee back across to Corwin. Corwin at the far point. Back for McKee. McKee down low on the circle. Back to McKee at the point. McKee for Corwin. Corwin waiting, going inside. That one broken up by Grant Warner. And Pilkington and Warner will work together to clear this one.
Nice move.
Here comes Warner. Grant Warner in. Great defensive play there to recover from Danaher as Teske's out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5.
Yeah, fantastic play by Danaher there. He dove, and he somehow only got a piece of the puck. A really good play by the defenseman there. Surprised there wasn't an icing call there.
Well, that's because Tolvey decided to exit his crease and play that puck. Interesting decision from Wake Forest netminder right there. Now the other way for Wake Forest, this is number 12, Gate. Gate leaves that one on the board. Sean Amon will pick it up for Maryland. Leaves for Rakowskis. Rakowskis up ahead on the far side for Hudrin. Jack Hudrin chips it into the offensive end. Tolvey tries to play it. Bounces over his stick. Around the boards, Rakowskis has it for Maryland. Has that shot blocked. Recollects it at the point. Down for Hudrin. Hudrin trying to play it ahead for Warner. A couple of Wake Forest players in the way. Rakowskis will reset in center. Up ahead for Chase Wilson. Wilson taken into the boards there by number 18, Adam Custable.
Custable ended up pretty much inside of his own bench.
Still in the offensive end for Maryland. Here's Blake Warner. Out in front for Harnan. Harnan looking for a passing lane. He's got Petter, but that pass just off its mark.
Yeah, it was deflected there. A really good stick play there. I believe it was Jesper Snow, a native of Illinois, who got a piece of the puck, and that really, sent the puck all the way back to Maryland's own zone.
Brian Teske trying to start a breakout here for the Terps. That one glances off of James' body, so no ice. It goes right at Tolvey, and he'll cover. No further play. 11:22 left here in the first period. Still 0-0 between the Terps and the Demon Deacons.
Unintentional play there by Teske to get that all the way to the Wake Forest net, but you'll take that if you're Maryland. You want to set up shop in your own offensive zone. That, because of the stoppage, they'll be able to do that with their top scoring line out there. Harnan and Schreiben, two young men who have been all over the score sheet for Maryland this year.
And as Maryland learned yesterday, any shot towards the opposing netminder is a good one, as Dylan Clancy taught them.
Yeah, Dylan Clancy also had a mental error today where he came all the way out of the net when UNC Wilmington was on the power play, and it ended up resulting in a Rowan goal. Me and Bailey were on the call for that.
Inside for Schreibman, he fans on the shot. Body still dangerous in front. Wake Forest clears it out. Schreibman still looking for something. Schreibman leaving it down low. Back at the point, it's Teske. Teske waiting. Schreibman's hurting on his way to the bench.
Really bad look for Maryland right there.
Body with it below the Wake Forest net. Body evading pressure to the point for Petter. Petter, a long shot saved by Tolvey. Wake Forest desperately needs a clear here. Travis Duchesne, great keeping on that one. No, they're saying delayed offside. Looked like Travis Duchesne kept it into the zone. Must have been just behind the line. Andre Serra with it in his own end for the Terps. Plays it for Scriven. Up ahead, it's Duchesne. Duchesne has a passing lane with Facciano. Leaves for Serra. Back up for Facciano. Facciano chips it in. James Romps will chase with Corwin. Corwin and Romps on the boards. Facciano joins the battle. At the point, it's Serra. Across for Scriven. Scriven will try to play it down low. Good defensive play there from number 27, Jesper Snow. Now the other way for Wake Forest. Here they come. It's Granelli. Granelli with a shot. Blocker save for Adams. Scriven clears that rebound out of harm's way. Down low for the Demon Deacons. This is number 20, Wilson Fox. Fox hit into the boards there by Facciano. Puck still loose in the corner. Comes out on the stick of Andre Serra. Serra plays it across for Duchesne. Duchesne gets caught up with the linesman right there. Unfortunate play for him. Now Wake Forest trying to start a charge the other way. This is Corwin. He loses that puck to Warner. Grant Warner coming in, across, score! Tommy Pilkington does it again.
What a play there. Grant Warner just with the theft. Resulted in an odd man rush for the Terps and a beautiful cross ice feed to Tommy Pilkington. Count him up. 3 goals in 2 games for 23. And Maryland strikes first, something they haven't really done much as of late, and a much needed goal for Maryland.
As you said, Owen, that started with the beautiful pickpocket from Grant Warner. He stole the puck right off of Liam Corwin's stick. Then he streaks into the offensive zone, finds Tommy Pilkington on the other side. Pilkington, no mistakes on that one-timer past John Tolvey. Maryland now protecting a 1-0 lead. Wake Forest looking for the response. Big shot block there from Sean Amon. That one coming off the stick of Gate. Pilkington, who just scored the other way. Pilkington down below the Demon Deacon net. Pilkington to the point for Rakowskis. Rakowskis, long shot, tipped in front by Ryan Craven. Doesn't get all the way on. Grant Warner across for Pilkington. Pilkington with a shot. That one's blocked out of play by Faherty.
Something to monitor. Caleb Craven has not entered the game since he exited before the Maryland power play opportunity. This line, which is normally winged by Pilkington and Caleb Craven, mental break there. The Travis Duchesne was in for Caleb Craven is basically what I'm trying to say. That's a situation you want to monitor, especially now that Schreibman was not on the ice, or left the ice a little shaken up. I just had a complete mental breakdown right there. No idea what was going on.
And that was back-to-back shifts for Ryan Craven as well, listed today as Maryland's extra skater. He's meant to rotate through the lines. He just played 2 straight shifts right there. Potentially a bad sign for both Schreibman and Caleb Craven. We'll see if we can get any health updates as this game moves along. Maryland trying to keep the pressure on. That one played off a high stick by Wake Forest. So we get a whistle here. 8:09 left in period number 1. Terps 1, Demon Deacons 0.
Yeah, and you see Schreibman's back out on the ice right now, so it's a good sign for Maryland, hoping that was just, maybe got the wind knocked out of him or something. But he took his glove off as he was going to the bench. So maybe something to watch for. He looks a little uncomfortable still. Something to monitor. You do not want to lose one of your top scorers if you're Maryland.
Maryland currently out shooting Wake Forest 8-1. Terps have been all over the Demon Deacons so far as Wake Forest ice that puck. It'll be another offensive zone draw for Maryland.
And a big reason why that Maryland second line has been so productive as of late is because Craven's been on the wing. Him and Pilkington. I said me and Bailey talked to Trevor Drake last week, one of the Maryland assistant coaches, and he said that Pilkington and Craven both have really good one-timers, and that having them together is a real threat for opposing defenses. Losing Craven would be a really big issue for Maryland going forward.
Harnan with a face-off win there, but Wake Forest gains possession. Around the boards, they can't get it past Eli Petter. Petter trying to send it the other way for Maryland. That pass intercepted by number 8, Ross McKee. McKee dumps it into the offensive zone for Wake Forest. First one there is going to be Teske. Teske plays it around for Petter. Petter up the boards for Body. Body looking for a passing lane. He'll choose the wall and play it for Harnan. Harnan dumps it into the zone. Schreibman chasing the puck, pressured by Corwin. Schreibman taken into the boards there by Corwin. Body joining the puck battle. He comes out with it. Body was looking for a pass to the point. Terps were in the middle of a change. Henry Scriven collects it back in his own zone. Wake Forest in the middle of a very long change right there. Looks like some miscommunication on their bench.
That first line's been out there for a really long time for Maryland. You got to get off here, especially if Schreibman's a little banged up. You don't want him to take unnecessary hits, but a nice hit there by James Body.
I was about to say, James Body looks just fine on the ice right now.
Hey, he's a little tired. He's about to skate off here.
Faherty has that pass taken away by Scriven. Scriven will dump it back in as Maryland finishes off that change. Wake Forest trying to send it the other way. That pass picked off by Travis Duchesne. He plays it ahead for Romps. Romps was into the offensive zone, but I guess it was offside.
Yeah, I heard the whistle. I thought it was from the other rink, though, right behind us.
As did I, since that seemed like a fairly standard play. But the linesmen say offside, so we'll take this stoppage here with 6:44 left in the first. Speaking of behind us on the other rink, it is the Elon Phoenix and the Richmond Spiders. That game currently 0-0. Face off there, won by Wake Forest, but stolen by Duchesne. That shot just over the glove of Tolvey. Duchesne still trying to keep the pressure on for the Terps. Around the boards, it's taken away there by number 2, Kellen Danaher. Danaher can't get it past Sean Amon for the moment. Now Wake Forest looking for a stretch pass here. Here comes Danaher. Danaher, that shot there blocked by Rakowskis. Jack Rakowskis sends it down for Sean Amon. Plays it back up to his defensive partner. Up ahead for Romps. Romps can't get it out of the zone. Wake Forest trying to spark some offense for really the first time this afternoon. Maryland, though, with the recovery. Here comes Romps. Romps up ahead. Terps in the middle of a change.
Yeah, Duchesne was back out there with that third line. So good sign for Caleb Craven, Caleb Craven, excuse me. But obviously still a lot.
Speaking of, Ryan Craven just fanning on a shot right there. He had a prime opportunity for a one-timer in the slots. Great feed from Grant Warner yet again.
Getting his first collegiate goal.
Ryan Craven out for Pilkington with a shot off the pad of Tolvey. That one will be played off a high stick, but Wake Forest touches it, so we play on. Eli Petter over for Amon. Amon up ahead. Here comes Petter. Petter with speed through neutral. He'll carry it in on the near side. Petter takes it down low. He's pinching. As we get a whistle here.
A penalty maybe?
Cross check spotted by the rear official. Looks like he's taking off a Demon Deacon. Yeah, Maryland headed back to the power play. It'll be number 22, Colin Rosado, headed off for Wake Forest.
It'll be interesting to see what they do here, whether they go with that second unit. It looks like they are. Yeah, they're going to go with their second unit, so interesting to see. Maybe they don't know who can replace Caleb Craven on that top unit, but Maryland, they didn't really have much success on their first power play. Granted, it was only pretty much half of a power play because they ended up having the interference call on Brian Teske, but a big opportunity here for Maryland to double their lead.
They did have the crossbar from James Romps on that first chance. Although, as Owen said, Brian Teske took an interference about halfway through the Maryland power play the first time. At the point, it's Teske. Teske for Pilkington, across inside. Romps can't get the shot off.
Nice slap pass there by Pilkington, nearly worked to perfection.
Teske back at the near point. Teske looking for options. Teske waiting. He chooses Warner. Warner for Pilkington. Pilkington has to collect it. Back inside, he was looking for Romps. That one deflected by Wake Forest. Pilkington keeps it in, though. Pilkington for Teske. Teske settling down this puck. Sends it down low to Schreibman. Schreibman will rotate with Pilkington. Pilkington down low. Pilkington inside for Schreibman. Back for Teskey. Teskey with a shot, tipped by Romps. Score! James Romps with the deflection in front. Ultimately tapped in by Tommy Pilkington. It was just James Romps, a straight-up Romps goal, 2-0 Terps.
And James Romps, he's going to get one regardless. Like we said, he had the post on the last power play. He's able to deflect that one in. Brian Teskey was so surgical on that power play. He knew exactly where to go pretty much at all times. He wasn't really pressured either. It seemed like he would hold the puck for, 5 to 10 seconds at a time. Really good work there by the Maryland power play. And what confidence must Tommy Pilkington be playing with right now? He had so many good passes on that power play, and ultimately his setup to Teskey is the one that resulted in the goal.
Yeah, a beautiful play from Tommy Pilkington yet again. I thought that he had that last tap at first. I saw a clear deflection from James Romps, and that puck appeared to be sitting in the crease. Ends up it was already in there. Goal for number 16 in red as Wake Forest shoots that one just high off the stick of Albrighton right there. Maryland trying to come the other way with the fourth line. Jack Hudrin dumps it in from neutral. Albrighton collects it for Wake Forest, trying to send it around the boards. That pass intercepted at the point. Scriven's got it. Scriven with a shot off the blocker there of Tolvey. Chase Wilson collecting it in the corner for Maryland. Blake Warner joining the huddle. Pressure coming in now from Dedericks. Still being tied up on the wall here as we drift below 3.5 minutes to play here in the first. Andre Serra, a long-range shot that goes wide, but it goes right to Henry Scriven. Scriven back down low for Warner. That one skips him. It'll go to Hudrin. Wake Forest trying to get it out of the zone. It's on the stick of Frascone for a moment, but he can't do it. Hudrin with a shot. That one will be covered by Tolvey. Much needed break for the Demon Deacons. Maryland really pouring on the pressure here.
Yeah, absolutely. The Demon Deacons have one shot. We are pretty much, we're 17 minutes into this period, and their one shot was kind of just a dump in towards not Pharisee, Patty Adams.
Yeah, as you may recall, their one shot on goal so far, a very casual glove save for Patrick Adams.
And this is the type of consistency that Maryland has kind of lacked this whole season. Really seems like they haven't really been able to maintain consistent offensive success for an entire period, and it's really been
good deflection in front there from Body. Better save by Tolvey.
Tolvey's made a handful of some great saves. Wake Forest is lucky to only be down one right now.
They're down two.
Or down two.
James Body plays it up for the point. Eli Petter waiting in neutral.
Oh, what a
takes it right there. Petter across for Schreibman. Schreibman with speed. Leaves for Harnan. Harnan a shot saved by Tolvey. Harnan still with it in the offensive end. Working 1-on-3. Wake Forest gets it out. Rosado here. Rosado sending it across for Snow. Snow into the offensive end. He sends it around the boards for Rosado. Rosado checked into the boards by Teskey. Behind the net, it's Snow. Sending that pass out there to number 18, Custable. Harnan hooked right there. Another power play incoming for Maryland. Wake Forest can't get out of their own way right now.
Wake Forest had a 2-on-1, it seemed like, entering the zone, and they decided to do a wraparound pass instead of a shot. I just don't understand what they're doing there. You have one shot this entire period. Is there going to be 2 penalties coming up? It looks like there are.
I saw a clear hook at first on Harnan, and then there was a hold after the play.
Maryland,
so a 5-on-3. 2 minutes of 5-on-3 upcoming for this Maryland power play.
A power play that has been very, very hot as of late. Like I said, last weekend against Virginia Tech, they had a power play goal in both of the games despite the losses. Their power play is definitely on the uphill incline right now. But the second unit's still out there.
Clean win for Schreibman. Teskey's got it. Warner on the far circle. Back up for Teskey. Teskey creeping in. Goes to Warner. Warner on the circle. Shot. Saved by Tolvey. Rebound was there for Schreibman. He'll collect it. Back up for Warner. Warner skating in. Rips it. That one goes just wide. Teskey on the near circle. Teskey coming up to the dot. Down low for Pilkington. Back up for Teskey. Down to Pilkington again. Across for Warner. He didn't quite handle that pass. Grant Warner facing some pressure
nice
there. Leaves it down low for Schreibman, but he's pickpocketed there by Danny Mitchell, and Wake Forest clears.
So Maryland's going to put their top unit out now. I'm interested to see who might be substituting in for Caleb Craven if he's not going to come out.
Pilkington leaves for Petter. Petter quarterbacking this unit. Down for Pilkington on the far circle. Pilkington back up for Petter. Petter across. Warner just wide. They had Tolvey beat. Beautiful passing right there. Great keep in by Petter. Petter with a shot. That one's blocked down in front by Nacy, and Wake Forest clears. 1 minute left in the period, 50 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Wake Forest clearing again there. That's number 2, Danaher.
It's going to be Sean Amon who's in for Caleb Craven. So similar styles of play. Amon maybe not the offensive juggernaut that Caleb Craven is, but still a very, very playable player on this power play.
On the far circle, it's Harnan. Across for Petter. Down low, Duchesne. Duchesne, back up for Petter.
Oh, what a play by Petter.
Petter, shot there, score! Tipped in front by Sean Amon and James Body. Body, the one who gets the final stick on it. 3-0 Maryland.
James Body was put on this top power play unit because of his body. He screens the goalie every time, and this is another game where he has a tip-in power play goal. He had 2 last week against Virginia Tech, make that 3 now in the past 5 games, and Maryland is buzzing. They have more goals than Wake Forest has shots right now, as we likely are going to go into the first period with Maryland up 3-0.
A double deflection right in front of John Tolvey. If you're Wake Forest netminder, there's nothing you can do there.
Do we have a timeout called by Wake
We might
Forest?
have a timeout from Wake Forest. They're currently being outshot 15-2 with just 31 seconds left in this first period. Coaching staff trying to get their players under control. No timeout officially called, though. Just a long delay.
And they
still 23 more seconds of power play time for this Terps offense. Body plays it back for Amon. Across to Petter. Petter back for Amon. Amon, one last rush on this power play. Amon into the offensive zone, gets it over the blue line. It'll be taken away there by Faherty. Faherty tries to get it out. He will. And that expires the rest of the penalty as Petter plays it up for Harnan. 5 seconds left in the period. Harnan with speed going to the outside. Harnan can't get a shot off.
Ooh, what a pass
and we
in
run
front.
out of time as he was looking for Travis Duchesne. But what a dominant period from this Maryland Terrapin squad.
There are times where Maryland struggles to score 3 goals in the entire game. They're able to do it against Wake Forest in the first period. Like I said, more shots than Wake Forest, or more goals than Wake Forest has shots. A perfect first period for Maryland. The only thing that isn't going their way, probably the injuries. Caleb Craven, I didn't even see him on the bench, so he might be getting checked out by a professional right now or somebody not on the Maryland bench. But a very fun period of hockey for Maryland.
A great period if you're a Terps fan. A lot to talk about in that Wake Forest locker room. Owen and I will be back in about 10 minutes for the second period of play here from the St. James. Welcome back to this Maryland Hockey Network presentation on AAU Plus. My name is Andy Parr, joined alongside color commentator Owen Korzak and technical director Bailey Unchester. And Owen, the Maryland Terrapins with a 3-0 lead over the Wake Forest Demon Deacons as we enter the second period of play here at the St. James. Just an all-around dominant first period from Maryland. What were you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, to say it was a dominant first period might be an understatement, legitimately. Maryland, I mean, I said it as we went to the break. Maryland has more goals than Wake Forest has shots in the first period. I mean, this has been an incredible start for the Terps, a team that has kind of struggled to get started early, especially as of late against Penn State, against Virginia Tech, where they went 0-4 over those 2 weekends. Granted, those two teams are very good, two of the best that Maryland will face this season. But Maryland, they've been converting on special teams. They had the power play goal from James Roms. I believe we also had a second power play goal, the James Body goal. Yes, that was another power play goal. And then you started off with the Tommy Pilkington goal, where it was a great play by freshman Grant Warner to pickpocket a Demon Deacon, and then a beautiful cross-ice pass to Pilkington, who's able to tap it in. Another freshman. Maryland, it's not just their older guys that are coming through. Their younger guys are making huge plays. I mean, I talked about Warner, I talked about Pilkington. You got Schreibman, you got Harnan, two sophomores. You got Rakowskis out there. I mean, you've got a lot of young talent for this Maryland team that's coming in clutch here, and a big second period to come up for both teams.
Face-off here, won by the Demon Deacons, but immediately taken away by Brian Teske. Maryland trying to get right back to work on the offensive end. Teske behind Patrick Adams. He'll start a breakout here. Leaves for Warner. Warner up across. That pass intercepted there by Ross McKee, and a stick save for Patrick Adams.
Something to monitor. Caleb Craven, I did not see him on the bench as we left for the intermission. I also do not see him now. His brother Ryan Craven is currently winging that second line that Caleb is normally out there for, so something to keep an eye on for the future of Maryland hockey. Definitely won't be seeing Craven back today.
Well, I can just say that I'm spotted Caleb Craven wearing a baseball cap on the Maryland bench, so I think it's safe to say that he's done for the rest of this afternoon.
Really big loss for Maryland. Although they are winning 3-0, Caleb Craven is not only a great player, he is a leader for this hockey team.
Warner to take this face-off against Mitchell. Mitchell loses it to Warner. Teske plays it around the boards for Petter. Petter up ahead for Pilkington. That one skips off his stick. Wake Forest sends it the other way right off of Adams. Teske leaves for Petter behind the net. Petter up ahead for Pilkington. Pilkington tried to connect with Harnan right there. Intercepted by Albrighton. Albrighton checked off the puck there by Pilkington. Brian Teske recollects it for Maryland. That pass a little bit too slow there. A long-range shot coming in off the stick of Jagger Lucas. Big save for Patrick Adams. Wake Forest, a much different pace of play as we start this second period. Definitely some messages sent in that intermission locker room.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't really see Maryland coming out with the same aggressiveness and speed that they
out
did
in
the first
front,
period.
they were looking for body, just as you say that.
Rakowskis,
a long-range shot blocked down in front. Eamon again, tipped in front by Body. That one's off the pad of Tolvey, and he covers.
Yeah, really, really good, sense of urgency there for Maryland before the stop. You were saying it, I was about to say it. It was all Wake Forest for the first minute or so of this period, and then Maryland finally finding their rhythm. They're getting their top scoring guys out there. You got Harnan, you got Schreibman, Body, who's been a scoring machine the past 2 weeks or so, or a week or so. Really, really solid performance here so far by Maryland.
Terps looking for more right here. Harnan has that puck taken off his stick the other way. Here comes Rosado. Rosado chipping it into the offensive end for Wake Forest. Sean Eamon will be the first one there for the Terps. Eamon taken down in the corner by Rosado. Puck still loose. Picked up now at the point. It's Faherty. Faherty with the shot off the pad of Adams. Rebound, score! Rebound goal right there for Jesper Snow. And it's 3-1. Wake Forest with a hectic start to this second period is within 2.
Yeah, and that's a really huge goal for Wake Forest because not only did they scored early. It's exactly what they needed to do to get back in this one. It's a 2-goal deficit. 2 goals is a very manageable deficit to come back from, especially for a team that can score at will like Wake Forest. They put up a lot of points. Maryland, they're going to have to find some rhythm here. They're going to have to, take advantage of what Wake Forest gives them as an aggressive team. It'd be hard to do that without Caleb Craven.
Just under 2 minutes into this second period, and Wake Forest already more than doubled their shot output that they had in the first. Wake Forest now looking for more. James Romps keeps it in at the zone. Here comes Duchesne with a shot. Saved by Tolvey. Rebound was loose for a moment. Recovered there by Nacy. Nacy trying to send it the other way for the Demon Deacons. That one misses his man. And here comes Duchesne the other way. Taken away by Wake Forest in neutral. Now skating with it, it's Nacy. Nacy on the far side. Save there for Adams. He'll leave it for Petter. Petter up on the boards for Duchesne. Duchesne trying to play it out. Kept in at the point there by number 19, Doubt-It. Patrick Adams sliding to his left to snatch that one out of the air.
There's a nice snag there by Adams. And again, it's a smart play. You know, he could have let the puck just go off the boards and back into play. But, you know, Maryland, they needed to get some fresh legs out there. They needed to get, you know, take a second to, you know, find their rhythm again. It's not been the same Maryland team that came out of that came out in the first period.
Corwin playing that one low. Down in front. Dangerous play right there for the Terps. Grinelli left alone in the crease for a moment. Big stop for Adams as he covers that one with the glove.
That's a huge opportunity there for Wake Forest. And if you come back later in this game and they find themselves down, that is going to be a play they look back at. They had a wide open net. Puck was free in front of, and Adams just didn't really have clean control of it. We have a stoppage here for some reason.
Face off here, won by Chase Wilson, back for Scriven. Scriven playing it up the boards. That one hops over the stick of Corwin, and Hudron's trying to go the other way. But it's icing on the Terps. Corwin must not have touched it at that far point, and will come all the way back down.
And Jack Hudron not a fan of that call. He had a word with an official. Maryland, that icing's not the worst thing in the world. They cleared the puck. This is pretty much a fresh group of skaters.
Wilson wins it against Dedricks again. That one a much slower clear, so definitely no icing here. Corwin back there for Wake Forest. Corwin still with the puck in his own end, looking for a passing lane. It got one intercepted by Scriven, taken away by Sarah now. Sarah spins once, goes behind the Maryland net, spinning again. Big check there for number 10, Matthew Studert. And Studert's got the puck for Wake Forest. Plays it up for the point. Long-range shot there, saved by Adams. Rebound taken out of the harm's way by the Terps. Blake Warner now with speed the other way. Warner trying to catch that puck. First one there is going to be McKee. McKee sending it out for the Demon Deacons. Pressure there from Henry Scriven. It'll get the puck to Ryan Craven. For Sarah. Back across. Bad pass there intercepted, but this is offside on Wake Forest if they touch it up. Now it'll be washed out.
Maryland caught a break there. That was a really bad turnover there by Rakowskis, and it could have been really crisis averted for Maryland right there.
Maryland now trying to establish an offensive zone time. Can't do it right there. Here come the Demon Deacons. It's Jagger Lucas working with Danaher. Danaher sending it down low. Eamon there for the Terps, playing it up for Ryan Craven. Craven trying to feed that one through neutral. He finds Warner. Grant Warner coming in on the far circle shot off the glove of Tolvey. Tolvey looked uncertain about that one as it barely skips over the top of the net. Jack Rakowskis trying to keep that in at the point. Delayed offside on Maryland here. And it'll come all the way down as Ryan Craven kept on that pressure.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Ryan Craven. He seems to be in the right places for Maryland. This is really his first consistent action in his collegiate career. Like you said, he came in as the extra skater today and he's played fine. I mean, he's got big shoes to fill. His brother is arguably the best player on this Maryland team. So, especially on that second line, it's going to be a big role to fill. I think he's doing a pretty good job.
Another face-off win for Grant Warner. Terps will try and play this one out of the defensive zone. Behind the net is Eamon. Eamon back around for Rakowskis. Intercepted there in front. Another save for Adams. That time he stonewalled Jesper Snow. Tommy Pilkington sends this one into the offensive end for the Terps. Pilkington looking in front for Warner. That one off a Wake Forest stick. And here come the Demon Deacons the other way. It's Rosado. Rosado on the near circle. Rosado spins, wrap around in front.
He had an opening there. He just missed.
Missed on that pass. He was looking for Nacy. Now Pilkington with speed the other way. Pilkington off the blocker of Tolvey. And Pilkington.
He's banged up.
Lost an edge and barreled into the boards.
Someone Maryland really can't afford to lose. They're already thin. Schreibman's banged up. You've already lost Caleb Craven, the other winger. And Tommy Pilkington has been arguably, probably Maryland's best skater the past two games. He's already scored today. He has 3 goals in the past 2 games. That's someone Maryland really cannot afford to lose. And you see a lot of players coming off the bench to support their teammate, the captain Teskey, Sean Eamon, Ryan Craven.
Tommy Pilkington now back on his own 2 feet. Slowly skating off towards the Maryland bench. He appears to be all right, just a little bit shaken up.
Maybe just the wind knocked out of him. He's grabbing what looks like, no, never mind. I thought he was holding his other glove, which was not on his hand. I thought his hand was there, but hopefully he's okay. Maryland really cannot afford to lose another forward here today.
Wake Forest wins that faceoff, and now they're trying to send it the other way. Picked off by Teske. Teske up ahead for Schreibman. Schreibman can't get it past Corwin, and Wake Forest has the puck again. This is McKee. McKee using the boards. Schreibman with a big hit on the boards right there. Maryland bench loving that one.
This game's getting really chippy. I mean, this is two teams that don't really play each other too often.
Schreibman now with speed the other way. That pass for Harnan is intercepted by number 19, Dowdett. Dowdett, though, can't get it past Harnan. Schreibman now into the offensive end for the Terps. Schreibman evades one hit. Beautiful stick handling right there as he takes it south of the Wake Forest net. Kept in here at the point by Teske with a shot saved by Tolvey. He'll squeeze lots of Maryland traffic in front.
Yeah, really good work here by Maryland right now. They're adapting to some injuries. I mean, Schreibman, he was shaken up a little bit earlier. You can kind of tell he's not playing the way that he normally does. A really good job there avoiding the hit and generating an offensive zone faceoff early.
Facciano to take this faceoff for the Terps.
Facciano, guy who's been making a lot with the limited time that he gets.
Face-off here, won by Maryland, out for center. This is Petter. Petter trying to win that puck battle. It's taken away now by Duchesne. Duchesne tries to play it forward, gets poked back, but Teske's there for Maryland. Eli Petter on the far side up for Romps. Romps cruising through neutral. He'll dump this in. Travis Duchesne will have to chase behind the net. First one there is going to be Faherty. Faherty trying to use the boards to get it out. Kept in for the moment by Facciano. He sends it in deeper. Duchesne with a check on the boards. He took out Frascone right there. Facciano recollects in neutral as we have a whistle here. Hand pass on the Terps. 13:31 to play here in the second period. Current score, Maryland 3, Wake Forest 1. Shots on goal, Maryland 18, Demon Deacons 6.
This period a lot more balanced than the last period. I mean, it's going to be hard to be any more less balanced than the first period. The first period was just all Maryland, and Wake Forest definitely adapting a little bit more. They made some good adjustments at intermission.
At the point, here comes Richardson with a long-range shot, blocker down by Adams. Sorry, that was Gate, but he's stripped to the puck there by Hudrin. Hudrin with a 2-on-1 developing. Hudrin, wait, shot saved by Tolvey off the pad. Around the boards on the other side, Sarah keeps it in for the Terps. He'll play it in deep. First one there for Wake Forest is McKee. McKee looking for a passing lane. That one glances off a couple of sticks and ends up with Henry Scriven of Maryland. Hudrin trying to dump it into the zone, stalled up at the line for the moment by Wake Forest. Now there's a fight on the boards. Chase Wilson joining the battle. Henry Scriven there too. The one who comes out with it is Jagger Lucas. Lucas, shot from the near circle off the pad of Adams. Another save for number 30 in red. Shot from the point there by Corwin, blocked by Chase Wilson. Maryland will clear this one slow enough to avoid the icing as they need a line change. Liam Corwin with speed for Wake Forest. Corwin cruising down Main Street, shot there off the pad of Adams, and he'll cover it with his glove. Patrick Adams now up to 7 saves on the evening.
Yeah, he's been very, very good. Obviously, he gave up that first goal. We have a penalty? No, we don't. I thought maybe we had a penalty coming up on Maryland for a second based on the way the officials were signaling, but all is good for the Terps. But Patrick Adams, he's really doing a good job here today.
Richmond just scored a goal to go up 4-1 on Elon on the rink behind us. That Spiders team has had a very productive showcase weekend.
Ooh, bad turnover.
Takeaway here from Corwin with a shot. Glove save for Adams. He didn't quite have it in there. Is able to still cover it up.
It's an uncharacteristic turnover there by Sean Amon, who's one of the smartest players on this Maryland team. He's a very, very good defensive defenseman. He doesn't turn the puck over much. They're a bad one and a really, really good opportunity there for Faherty.
Rosado and Warner at the dot here. Warner wins it again, but Rosado plays it forward. Rosado sending it around the boards, kept in there by Frascone. Frascone plays it deep. Sean Amon there for Maryland. Amon, nice spin move around Rosado there to maintain possession for a moment. Plays it up for Ryan Craven, and Craven will get into neutral for Pilkington. Good to see Tommy Pilkington back out on the ice.
It was a really good pass by Craven. Pilkington just couldn't really clean the...
Rakowskis down deep in front for Pilkington off the pad of Tolvey. Grant Warner on the far side, leaves for Craven. Craven in front for Pilkington. That one just out of his reach. Maryland starting to play like they did in the first. Great play by Amon to keep it in. Warner in front for Pilkington. That pass offline. Clear here by Wake Forest. This one has icing written all over it. And we got a whistle here. This will come all the way back down. 11:27 to play here in the second period. Maryland 3, Wake Forest 1.
And this Wake Forest crew is gassed. They were unable to clear the puck. And we go back to a fantastic play by Sean Amon. Like I said, very uncharacteristic for him to turn the puck over. He makes up for it and more right then and there to keep the puck in and keep the tired skaters out on the ice for Wake
Harnan
Forest.
wins this faceoff for Maryland. Schreiben with the puck with a shot saved there by Tolvey, but he couldn't squeeze it. Corwin around the boards, kept in by Petter on the far point. Petter sends it down low. Harnan will be there for Maryland. Body there too as he drives Frascone down into the ice. Teskey trying to keep this puck in. He cannot, and here comes Wake Forest, entire group out on the ice. Out in front for Snow with a shot. That one a stick save for Adams. He turns it aside. Wake Forest in the middle of a change here. Maryland icing the puck. Terps trying to take advantage of a tired unit of Demon Deacon skaters right there, coming close with James Body.
And Maryland, they're kind of falling apart a little bit here. Not, I wouldn't say falling apart, but they're losing their rhythm, I think is a better word. They finally, got it going in this period, and Wake Forest is back at it.
Long range shot there, another save for Adams. That one coming out the stick of Albrighton. That one glances off of the Wake Forest bench, so this will be another face-off in neutral. Demon Deacons starting to creep back up in the shots on goal department, now knocking on double digits. They currently sit at 9.
Yeah, and they're finally finding a rhythm. I mean, it was going to happen eventually. This is an offense that scores a lot. So Maryland, they did a really good job at taking advantage of a time where Wake Forest wasn't on their A game. Yep,
Maryland making no mistakes in that first period as Adams deflects that one with his blocker out of play. Long range shot there coming off the stick of Landon Dowdett.
Terps, they're playing really good defense today. I will say that. I mean, they gave up the goal, obviously. You're going to give up goals every game, but they really have limited the amount of high danger chances that Wake Forest has had, even if they're putting up shots.
Face-off win for Facciano. He gets it back for Teskey. Teskey, long range, gets it into neutral. Maryland trying to stall up Wake Forest here. James Romps with the puck up ahead. He finds Duchesne. Duchesne backhands it into the offensive end. Facciano's there for the Terps. Facciano, though, can't quite handle that puck, and now here comes Wake Forest the other way. This is Dowdett. Dowdett chipping it into the zone. That one takes a weird bounce next to Patty Adams. Sarah will have to play it on the boards for Duchesne. Duchesne for Scriven. Scriven can't get it out of the zone. Long-range shot there goes high from Fox. That one hit into the netting there by Dedericks. 9:59 left here in the second period as we get another whistle. This one will come to the left of Patty Adams.
Yeah, and I was saying at the last stoppage that Patty Adams really hasn't had to make a lot of tough saves. It's been a lot of dump-ins. It's been a lot of high shots that he's just kind of deflecting away like a smart goaltender. But Maryland, like I said, their defense is doing a really good job at limiting high-danger chances.
Wake Forest looking for a shot here off the post.
Announcer's jinx at its finest right there.
Found some open space for the Wake Forest offense, and number 10 in white barely misses that one. Corwin now with the puck for Wake Forest. Drop pass there to the outside. Big block coming in from Henry Scriven. Big number 14 in red gets in the shooting lane there. Back to collect it. It's Ricky. McKee plays it up. Taken away by Wilson out in front. He was looking for Warner. McKee was there to intercept that pass. He can't get though. Sarah plays it down low for Warner. Back to Sarah. Sarah, Craven back down low. Nobody home except for Studert. Studert the other way. Long-range shot off the pad of Adams. He'll leave it for Amon. Amon up ahead for Craven. That pass a little bit too strong. Andre Sarah will try and reset again for the Terps. Sarah facing some heavy pressure there from Mitchell. Sean Amon gets the puck, though, and skies this one off the netting. Face-off will stay in the Terps' defensive end.
Maryland, they're giving up they're giving up shots this period, but I'm pretty content with the shots they're giving up. You'd rather be giving up, shots from the point or shots from the mid-range rather than really right up in Adams' alley and doing a good job avoiding that.
Hard to play as perfect as Maryland did in that first period every time you touch the ice. Terps still protecting a 2-goal lead over the Demon Deacons here in the St. James. Wake Forest made some first intermission adjustments as cutting in here, shot in tight, big time save from Adams on Danaher. He got back with the blocker.
What a save by Patrick Adams. Yeah, now it's just jinx again, giving up a high danger chance, but I mean, it might have actually just missed the net completely, but I have a feeling that he got that blocker right in the way of that puck, and a huge save, and I mean, Maryland giving up a goal there, this game is completely different.
Grant Warner has been excellent at the face-off dot tonight with another win there.
He just took a huge hit, though.
Grant Warner getting crunched there by Albrighton, and now here come the Demon Deacons again. Glove save for Adams. That one coming off the stick of Lucas.
Yeah, this game is getting a little bit more physical. You got Grant Warner is visibly shaken up. He just took a huge hit. He lost his stick. And then Maryland lucky that was the shot that Wake Forest took. They had some numbers going the other way, and Adams, I mean, he's been very, very good tonight.
Face-off win here for the Demon Deacons at the point. It's Faherty. Faherty tipped in front. Big-time block there from Harnan. Still loose. Terp scrambling for it. Schreibman ends up with it. He and Harnan will play this one out of the zone. Dangerous chance there for Wake Forest. Harnan now the other way. Harnan on the near circle. Circling in front for Body. That one was stuck on his backhand. Out in front, Harnan with a steal. Harnan on the near side. Shot save made by Tolvey. Still loose in front. Schreibman couldn't quite get to it. Stretch pass here. Finds Rosado, but he couldn't handle it cleanly. That puck was rolling, and he has to dump it in.
My goodness. I mean, you had a really, really lucky play there by Tolvey to
look out here.
Puck.
James Body has some passing lanes. He finds Harnan. Harnan's only able to tip it, though, so no ice here. Wake Forest trying to get numbers the other way. This is Snow, the man who scored Wake Forest's only goal so far. Puck, though, stripped by Harnan for the moment. Eli Petter with it for the Terps. Petter trying to use the boards to get it out. He can't. Andre Serra will attempt to do so again. Gets it up for Harnan. Harnan backhands this into neutral. Schreibman trying to play it forward. Taken away by Demon Deacon for the moment, and now Petter dumps it in. Terps need a change. Back there to collect, it's Gate. Gate checked by Body. Body finishing his hit right there. That one right at Patrick Adams, and he'll cover, as the first one there was going to be Zach Nacy.
Yeah, that was another near breakaway opportunity for Wake Forest. That's the second they've had in the past few minutes or so. I mean, Maryland is doing a really good job at, I mean, I wouldn't even say Maryland's doing a good job. I think Wake Forest is not doing a good job at converting on those stretch passes. That's 2 coast-to-coast passes they tried, and they had men open. They just couldn't capitalize on it. So Maryland a little lucky that they haven't really faced a true breakaway yet today.
Wake Forest wins that offensive zone draw, and they're trying to set up some offense now. In front, scramble for it. Still loose, collected by Dominic Facciano. Corwin playing it back deep again for Wake Forest. Scriven there for Maryland. Scriven will use the boards, but he can't get it out. Held in at the point. Long range shot, score! The shot from the point coming off the stick of Ross McKee. Looked like it changed directions in front, and it's 3-2.
I think that was Landon Duhoy, I believe.
The one leading the handshake line.
That would be.
If he'll ever turn around, it was Plamondon. Luke Plamondon.
He's been silent today, and that's a huge goal for Wake Forest. I mean, coming back from 2 goals is definitely within reach for any team, especially a team that can score like Wake Forest. But it's a big goal here in Maryland. They're going to have to find some command here. They've got 6 minutes left in this period. Now at this point, you might just be trying to get out of this period.
The Terps played a near flawless first period. Wake Forest making a lot of adjustments in that intermission, and the Demon Deacons are right back in this one. Cruising into the offensive zone. Here come the Demon Deacons again. That shot goes just wide from Grinelli. Blake Warner trying to get it out for Maryland. Grinelli keeps it in for the Demon Deacons. Grinelli down low for Wake Forest. Big hit there from Blake Warner to take him off the puck. Maryland trying to get out the other way. That one played off a high stick, but right at Patty Adams, so they have to keep going. Hudrin Trying to find Wilson on a stretch pass, doesn't hit him, but Tolvey has to touch it, so no ice here.
Kauskas made a really nice play back in his own zone to prevent a potential centering pass. I think that was Carson Dederich. Dederich is who had a chance there to center somebody, but Kauskas is.
And away from the puck, Tyler Grinelli caught with a slash. He was getting a little bit physical with Blake Warner in the offensive zone. I guess that he got one too many hits on the hands of number 25.
You want to talk about an opportunity that Maryland can take advantage of right here. They've altered their power play a little bit, maybe to cater to the Craven injury. You got Blake Warner out on this second pairing. He normally doesn't really play on the power play.
James Romps winning that faceoff back at the point. It's Teske. Teske for Pilkington. Back across for Warner. He can't collect that puck as it was deflected by Wake Forest. Now the other way, here comes Rosado. Colin Rosado on the near circle. Rosado will loop around the net. Rosado back up to the point. Wake Forest playing the possession game right now, trying to kill some time.
Doing a good job at it. They just killed about 20 seconds.
And Teske's taken into the boards. Grant Warner has to play it for Pilkington. And already 30 seconds gone on this penalty to Grinelli. Grant Warner up through neutral, hits his brother Blake. That one, though, offside as James Romps had his feet ahead of the play.
That was about as good of a cross-ice pass as you could ask for a freshman to make. And Warner, I mean, he doesn't play like he's a freshman, but that was a beautiful pass. There were two different players. There was Blake Warner. I believe you had Tommy Pilkington over there as well. Or no, it was not Tommy Pilkington. But you had two players who could have easily made a play on the puck, and neither of them were able to.
Face off there, won by Custable, and Wake Forest will clear it again. A minute 13 left on the slash to Grinelli. Maryland now with their first power play unit on the ice. Petter finds Amon on the far side. Amon into the offensive zone. Amon on the far circle. Does a stop and go move. Surveying his options, chooses Petter at the point. Back to Harnan. Harnan on the near side. Up top for Petter. Petter, a long-range shot. That goes just wide. Eli Petter able to collect it on the far side. Petter down to Body. Body below the Wake Forest net. Finds Sean Amon. Amon back to the point for Petter. Petter for Harnan. Harnan on the near circle with a shot. That one blocked out of play by Danaher. Good opportunity there for the Terps.
Yeah, it was a really good play by Danaher. He just followed Harnan the whole way through. He knew exactly when he was going to shoot, and when he did, he made sure he got in between the puck and the net. And a huge play there. And Maryland, I mean, they really haven't set up any type of offense up until that Harnan shot on this power play. You got 35 seconds left on it. So, an opportunity here.
Harnan winning the faceoff back for Amon. Amon cruises in with a shot. Tipped in front by Body, still loose. Tolvey came up with the save, but he couldn't squeeze it. James Body trying to tap home that rebound.
Duchesne might have also gotten a piece of that puck. So two different players with a chance to deflect it in, but Maryland showing a little bit more life on this power play. That's something that you need to see kind of as their lead has begun to wane.
One last rush here for the Terps power play as Petter pushes it over the blue line. Wake Forest stalls it up. 5 seconds remaining as they chip it into the bench, now down to 3 in the slash to Tyler Grinelli. 3:51 left here in the second period. Wake Forest clawing their way back into this one. Shots on goal now, Maryland 19, Wake Forest 15. And this second period has certainly been a different story.
There's still got 3 seconds left on the power play, but this is essentially an even strength play here. So yeah, their power play will go away, but
as Grinelli steps out of the box, we're officially back to 5-on-5 play. Andre Serra clearing that one out of his own end. This will be collected by Faherty. Griffin Faherty in his own end for Wake Forest. Warner trying to keep it in at the point. He can't. Now in neutral, it's Tommy Pilkington. Drops for Serra. Serra has that pass deflected out of play. His face-off will come back to neutral.
Maryland, you're just trying to get this to the end of the period here. They've been probably the inferior team this period. You're getting outshot 13-7, so the script not completely flipped from the first period, but Wake Forest has definitely been the superior team here, without a doubt.
That dumping attempt there was blocked by the Terps, and now here comes Ryan Craven the other way, dumping it into the zone. The two number 5s go against each other. That's Faherty and Warner. Faherty wins that battle. Scriven trying to keep it in at the point. He will for the moment, but now it's taken away by Rosado. Rosado trying to get into the offensive zone for Wake Forest. Andre Serra there for Maryland. Serra using the boards. Can't quite get it past Gate. Now down low. This is Jesper Snow. Out across to Rosado. Back for Snow. In front again for Rosado. Rosado had a little bit of space. Chose not to shoot it. Gate takes the shot. That one tipped wide by Rosado. Snow with a shot. Adams gets back to the post and squeezes that one to his chest.
Really nice play there by Patty Adams. He's been, he probably wants one of the goals back at least, but that goal really, I would say, is a horrendous goal to give up. You had a deflection on the second one. But Adams has definitely stood his ground in net. A much-deserved rest for Jack Pharisee, who's pretty much the ace goaltender for Maryland this year.
Jack Pharisee has been a workhorse for this Terrapin squad over the last month. Getting a well-deserved break. Patrick Adams putting in a good effort so far against this Demon Deacon squad. Here comes Albrighton in front, though. Good defensive stick from Teskey to break up that centering pass. Duchesne in the defensive end for Maryland. Will play it back for Teskey. Teskey leaves for Petter. Petter facing heavy pressure from Wake Forest, trying to use the boards to get it out. Maryland pushes it into neutral, where Wake Forest will reset again. That was number 16, Frascone, dumping it in. Wake Forest trying to center it in front. Petter takes down. That was Danaher in front. They're going to call a cross-check on Petter.
It's a call for sure. Ticky-tacky call, but if you're Petter, you gotta play smart. Petter's definitely not a fan of that call. A lot of the Terp fans here in Springfield, Virginia, not happy with the call, but really bad time to take a penalty for Maryland, where they've really been outplayed this whole period. You're going to be going, it's actually really cool. I don't think I've ever seen a power play and have 2 minutes on it with the period only having 2 minutes remaining. It's a very rare sight.
2 minutes in the period and 2 minutes on the Wake Forest power play. This is their second opportunity of the night, the first one an abbreviated one. Long-range shot here. That one's blocked in front by Pilkington. That one coming off the stick of Albrighton. Rosado sending it for Snow. Snow back up to the point to Faherty. Faherty takes the long-range shot, blocked by Grant Warner, and he will try to clear, but it's kept in for the moment by Faherty. Another backhanded attempt from Sean Amon, blocked. That one ends up in the netting.
It gets stuck in the netting. It's pretty cool. Oh, fan's going to get it. What a nice person. Might not even be a fan. That might just be a worker or a player on another team, but nice action.
That one
there.
not deflected on its way out, so it'll stay in front of Patrick Adams.
Meanwhile, behind us, Richmond is up 5-1 over Elon with about 2:40 left in that second period, so that game getting a little out of hand.
Mitchell to take this face-off against Warner. Mitchell wins it back for Corwin. Corwin sends it across. Back for Corwin on the near point. Corwin. This one's McKee. Down low to the circle for Rosado. Long-range shot from McKee goes wide. Corwin down low to collect it for Wake Forest. Corwin has the puck stripped off his stick by Serra. Tommy Pilkington coming in for support. Now Sean Amon's there too. Andre Serra really trying to clear this puck for Maryland. He's fighting hard for it. At the point, it's kept in by Corwin. Corwin across to McKee. McKee has it caught up in his skates for a moment. Now he recollects it. And Corwin can't handle that pass. Free clear here for the Terps. 53 seconds left on the power play. Sean Amon intercepts that pass, and he'll clear it again. More good penalty killing here from the Terps.
About as good as you could ask for from this Maryland penalty kill right now.
Motoring through neutral, that was McKee. Travis Duchesne steals the puck and stalls him up in neutral again. That pass taken away by Rakowskis. He'll get it to the other blue line. Maryland not letting Wake Forest enter cleanly right now as Rakowskis with another poke check. Shot in front, a good defensive stick from Travis Duchesne, muffling that chance for Nacy.
That was a fantastic play by Duchesne, potentially goal saving. They had a wide open man at the back post. Adams was not going to be ready for that.
Rosado motoring into the offensive zone with 8 seconds left in the period, blocked by Rakowskis. Teskey rings it around the boards. That one skips over the stick of Snow, and Maryland will survive that power play at the end of the second period.
You've got to be happy with the way that Maryland just really killed that penalty. And Maryland, not their prettiest period for sure, definitely could have been better, but you got to like what you're seeing out of this Maryland team. A huge period coming up next.
After 2, Maryland still with the lead, but Wake Forest has gotten back into this one. It's Terps 3, Demon Deacons 2. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for the third and final period here from the St. James. Welcome back for this third and final period of play in the last premier game of the 2025 ACC Showcase. My name is Andy Parr, joined by color commentator Owen Korzak and technical director Bailey Unchester. And as we come into this third period, it is a brand new hockey game between the Terps and the Demon Deacons. Maryland, a completely dominant first period. They outshot Wake Forest 15-2 and had a 3-0 lead. As we enter the third, the score is 3-2 and the shots on goal are 19-15 in favor of Maryland. A much better second period from Wake Forest. And Owen, how do you think the Terps will respond here?
I think that they're going to be a lot more conservative. I don't think they're going to be goal hunting as much. But I do think that they're going to definitely try to play a little bit safer, play a little further back defensively. And we see that here. Petter and Teskey were not nearly as far up as they normally are.
Coming into the offensive zone there was Dedericks, defended well by Eli Petter, though. On the boards, it's Ryan Craven. Ryan Craven leaves for Brian Teskey. Across for Petter. Petter up ahead. He was looking for Pilkington. That pass was offline, but Ryan Craven the only one there, no icing. Craven in front for Warner. He didn't get the shot off. Teskey still dangerous at the far point. Tipped in front by Warner. Saved by Tolvey. John Tolvey with his 17th stop of the evening right there. Harnan set to take this face-off against Rosado. Harnan wins it, but Wake Forest gets possession. James Body trying to maintain control in neutral. He cannot. Here comes Rosado. Rosado, drop pass there. Shot goes wide from Danaher. Outside with a shot. Glove save for Adams right there off the stick of Albrighton.
And it's been not too eventful of a third period so far, but both teams, I guess it has been eventful for the first minute. Both teams with a good opportunity there, both goalies with some nice saves.
Michael Schreibman dumping this one into the offensive end for Maryland. First one there is going to be Albrighton for Wake Forest. Albrighton trying to use the boards to get it out, only gets as far as Sean Amon. Amon the other way with Harnan. Terps have numbers if they hurry. Harnan in front for Body. Big defensive recovery from Danaher. He got his stick in the way there. James Body still fighting for the puck, squirts it out to Harnan. Harnan, though, lost his footing, and Wake Forest plays it into neutral. Jack Rakowskis there for Maryland. He's taken down by Jagger Lucas. No call. Rakowskis with the puck for Amon. Amon, nice saucer pass there back to Rakowskis. Rakowskis up ahead. That pass tipped by a couple of Demon Deacons and back into the Maryland defensive end. Sean Amon looking for an outlet. Finds Harnan. Harnan playing it up for Romps. Romps with speed. Stop and go move. Romps loses his footing, though, and Wake Forest gets possession. This is Rosado. Colin Rosado motoring into the offensive end for the Demon Deacons. Has that puck taken away by Romps. Romps finds Duchesne. Here comes Duchesne. Shot just high. Travis Duchesne trying to pick the far side on Tolvey.
He had one that went in the net last week against Virginia Tech that looked just like that.
Henry Scriven fighting for the puck behind the Maryland net. Scriven working against Rosado. Scriven wins that battle. Tries to play it up forward. James Romps lost a step, but Andre Serra ends up with the puck. That one off the back of Dominic Facciano, and Jesper Snow maintains possession. Bad pass there, though. James Romps takes advantage. And Duchesne coming into the offensive zone now, working one-on-one against Faherty. Duchesne taken into the boards there by Faherty. Now he's working one-on-two. Blake Warner coming to play support. Wake Forest gets it into neutral. They were looking for a stretch pass there. Onside is Dowdett. Dowdett, though, can't possess it against Brian Teskey. Maryland coming back the other way with Warner. Blake Warner thundering through neutral, dumps this one in. Jack Hudrin getting ready to hit somebody on the boards. Hudrin in front, backhand saved by Tolvey. Rebound still loose. Warner can't find it. And the officials blow the play dead. No, it's behind us. That was on the rink behind us. Teskey with a shot off the pad of Tolvey. Petter down low for Wilson. Wilson has that one skip his stick. Warner with a check right there, trying to keep the pressure on. This fourth line really getting the offense moving for Maryland. Chase Wilson comes out with the puck. Backhand on Tolvey, another save, but he can't swallow it up. Blake Warner sends it around the boards for Petter. Petter playing it down low. Chase Wilson's there for Maryland. Wilson hit there by Corwin. Corwin desperately trying to get it out. Can't get it past Warner. Warner for Wilson with a shot. Glove saved by Tolvey. He'll hold. But Maryland coming out with fire here in the third.
That is the Maryland we saw in the first period. Even though they're not on the score sheet yet in this period, I mean, they look a lot better than they did that second period. I mean, it really took them a while to get going offensively in the second period. Here they have had about 4 or 5 really good opportunities, a lot of good screening by their big guys.
Well, when you play as perfect a first period as Maryland did, when you go into that intermission locker room, there's not a lot to talk about, and sometimes the play can get away from you. Seems like the Terps have really adjusted back to what was working well for them early on. We'll see if they can keep it up. That one right at Patrick Adams. He'll stick it out to Jack Rakowskis. Rakowskis has that one taken away for the moment by Studert. In the corner, Grant Warner comes away with it for the Terps. Warner up ahead, taken away at the point by Albrighton, but a shot block there from Grant Warner. Warner now carries it into neutral. 3-on-2 developing for the Terps. Warner with Craven and Pilkington. Across for Pilkington with a shot blocked there by Wake Forest. Ryan Craven keeps it in the offensive zone, though. Pilkington, another shot, and another block there from Frascone as it deflects out of play.
Maryland, they're continuing to apply pressure. The shot quality has not been the best, but if you keep getting the shots on, the quality will eventually, find its way up. But good start for Maryland.
Maryland already with 5 shots in this third period. They've really made some offensive adjustments back to what was working in the first. Harnan loses this draw. Wake Forest trying to play it out with Faherty. Griffin Faherty behind his own net. That one bounces off an official as Henry Scrivens taken down. James Body dispossesses Danaher of the puck right there. But in his own end, this is Gate. Jackson Gate looking for an outlet pass. He finds Danaher, but that one skips over his stick and goes to Sarah. Sarah sending it the other way for the Terps. Bounces off a couple of Maryland sticks, and now it's with Schreibman. Schreibman.
Bad turnover.
That one read like a book there by Danny Mitchell, and a big save from Patty Adams. Down on the near wall, it's Danaher trying to play it in front. That one offline. Andre Sarah using the boards, gets it out. James Body in a foot race now with Gate. Gate wins it, but Body's going to stay with him. Body, good effort there. Out in front, Schreibman can't bury it. Maryland getting some dangerous chances here. Jackson Gate trying to slow things down for Wake Forest. Eli Petter takes him off the puck. Teskey plays it behind Adams, and it gets stuck on the net. Brian Teskey trying to get that puck out. The officials blow it dead.
And Maryland finding some rhythm. Wake Forest showing a little bit of life just now, but Terps, they've generated, at this point, it's probably closer to 7 or 8 really good chances deep in their own zone.
Custable to take this face-off against Facciano. Facciano wins it. Petter around the boards for Teskey. Teskey trying to get it out. At the point, it's kept in by Corwin with a long-range shot. Blocker to side by Adams. Eli Petter behind the net. Petter swings it up for Duchesne. Duchesne looking for an outlet. Can't find anybody for the moment, and then Eli Petter pokes it into neutral.
It's a really nice poke check there.
Hand pass there by Wake Forest. McKee thought he got away with it for a second. Officials say no way.
And this is a really good chance for Maryland here. This period has gone by really quick. It seems like it just started, but in reality, we're about a third of the way through. Maryland, they're going to have an offensive zone face-off, a really, really good chance for them to put up some
Macy
more good
against
shots.
Facciano. Facciano wins it. Amon with a shot. Glove saved by Tolvey. Travis Duchesne was ready for a rebound in tight. Travis Duchesne crashing the net front immediately off that face-off. It'll be Nacy and Facciano at the dot again. Facciano wins it back for Amon again. That one goes just wide. Wake Forest using the glass to clear. Rakowskis picks it up in neutral. James Roms trying to keep it in the offensive zone. That one offside on the Terps.
They're going to say hand pass. So we're going to have a defensive zone face-off here for Maryland now. Rakowskis not really happy with that call, I don't believe. I don't think he was trying to do a hand pass there, but it's what they called. So Maryland's going to have to really lock in defensively here.
Yep, my apologies. I thought it was offside at the line. Instead, they call hand pass, so this one comes all the way down. Nacy and Facciano, third straight time facing off at the dot. Faciano wins it for the third straight time. Rakowskis plays it up for Faciano. That one taken away for the moment by Wake Forest off the stick of Dowdett. Dowdett and Romps fighting in the corner. Squirts out into the middle there. Travis Duchesne collects it for Maryland to push it into center. Wake Forest trying to set things up. Travis Duchesne loses his stick. And Sean Amon's back there for Maryland. Amon for Warner. Warner pushing it into neutral, or so he thought. Sean Amon trying to collect it in the Maryland defensive zone, facing some pressure from Studert. Up ahead for Hudrin. Hudrin trying to get it out of the zone. Chase Wilson now will. Wilson will chase Studert, and now Warner will as well. Wake Forest now trying to get speed the other way. It's Studert with a shot save. Rebound still loose in front. Jack Hudrin collects it, but the net's off its posts. Dangerous rebound in front of Patty Adams right there. Jack Hudrin coming to the rescue for Maryland.
Yeah, and that was a very, very dangerous chance generated by Wake Forest. The puck was free in front of the net. A really good play by a Terp to get the puck out of there, and then thankfully Patrick Adams is okay. You see Jack Ferris, he was standing up with his mask on, ready to go in case he needed to be called upon.
Wilson squaring off the dot with Dedericks. Wilson wins it. Maryland has been very good at the face-off dot all around today. Blake Warner tips it into center. That pass from Wake Forest intercepted by Henry Scriven. Scriven plays it back into neutral. Dumping it into the offensive zone for Wake Forest, it's Frascone. That one off the pad of Adams. Adams plays it out for Sarah. Sarah on the boards. Frascone with another shot. That one
nearly went off of Henry Scriven's stick there and into the net. That was very dangerous.
A little knuckle puck that looks like Patty Adams didn't have a clean sight light on. Studert now trying to charge things up again for Wake Forest. It's taken away by Sarah. On the other side, Scriven. Scriven playing it down low for Wilson. Wilson hit into the boards there. Wilson trying to get the puck. Him and Warner both fighting for it. It ends up with Dedericks. Dedericks up ahead for Studert. Studert working one-on-one against Sarah. Good defensive stick from Andre Sarah right there to force an offside. 11:44 to play here in the third period. Terps still lead 3-2.
Maryland, they started off this period really strong. Wake Forest has definitely been the better team the past 2 or 3 minutes, though, so Maryland's going to have to find their control, get back in the driver's seat if they're going to want to close this one out.
Mitchell wins this face-off for the Demon Deacons. Wake Forest dumping it into the offensive zone again, and they choose to shoot it right at Adams again. Adams will cover. Defensive zone draw upcoming for the Terps. Seems like that was the plan for Wake Forest. They wanted to get an offensive zone draw here. Mitchell and Warner at the dot. Mitchell wins it. Shot there blocked by Ryan Craven. Another one goes wide of the net. Teskey trying to send it up for Petter. Petter ahead for Pilkington. Now Warner gets it out of the zone. Warner with speed into the offensive end. Warner with a shot. That one's tipped out of play by Faherty. Grant Warner, a single-handed effort right there in the offensive end.
Grant Warner is going to be a household name in this league in about 2 years. He has been a fantastic top six center. I mean, he's played wing as well, but he's been primarily a center this year as a freshman on a very competitive Maryland team. He has been incredible. We heard Blake rave about him in years prior, and for a good reason.
Shot there from Ryan Craven is blocked by Wake Forest, and now the Demon Deacons coming the other way. That one pumped on net by Corwin. Adams covers again. Wake Forest now up to 17 shots. Adams up to 15 saves. Maryland sitting at 26. Tolvey with 23. Rosado and Warner at the dot here. Rosado wins it. Straight back shot off the face-off set piece there for Custable. Saved by Adams.
Teskey having a word with the Wake Forest captain. They might have made a little bit of contact with Patrick Adams.
Looks like the same set piece. Look at where Custable's standing if they can get a clean win here from Rosado. Rosado doesn't get it cleanly to Custable. And Maryland recovers here with Teskey for Petter. Petter, though, loses it to Snow. Snow in front, scrambling for it. Still loose. Snow jams it wide.
That one he had an open net.
Ryan Craven thought he took a high stick there. He gave the what for to the official. We play on. Grant Warner collects the puck for Maryland. Over for Petter. Petter skies this one through center. This one rolling right at Tolvey. Tolvey looks a little bit surprised that he had to put his stick down there, but he covers. 10:29 left here in the third period.
And they're going to have a really good chance here. Oh, and you have an alternate captain having a word with one of the officials. I wonder what they were talking about. But Maryland, they have their top scoring line out there. Huge chance for them to go up 2 here with an offensive zone draw.
Harnan trying everything he can to get that face-off to Rakowskis. He does. Rakowskis to the corner for Body. Body out in front. Schreibman with a shot. Saved by Tolvey. He had that rebound loose for a moment, and then he dove back on top.
That feed by Rakowskis was incredible. A bounce pass off of the boards perfectly to Schreibman. Schreibman with a shot. He nearly netted that one.
Big time tie up here, ends up with Sean Amon. Amon, though, loses the puck. Here comes Wake Forest. It's Plamondon. Plamondon in alone. Saved by Adams. Patty Adams, a big time stick save. Taking down Plamondon.
And Duthit, he's having a word with the official. He thought that Adams tripped the player on a breakaway. But Adams, I mean, he's really come up big. He's made a lot of big saves here in this third period. And in the back half of that second period, he is doing his best to make sure Maryland stays on top. And you have the captain of Wake Forest.
Yeah, Colin Rosado still upset with the officials about a lack of trip there on Patty Adams, but that was just some great goaltending there from number 30 in red. Nacy and Harnan getting set at the face-off dot here. Telling James Body to move his feet. And they kick Harnan out. Schreibman now loses the face-off here. Point shot there, deflected in front. Andre Serra was trying to block it, nearly turned into disaster for Maryland. Point shot coming off the stick of Frasco, and in front again, Scriven, in front, they score. Landon Dowdett gets the net front scramble, and Wake Forest has overcome the 3-goal deficit.
Yeah, and Adams, he did a good job at the beginning of that whole sequence to find the puck, but there were a lot of bodies in front of him, a lot of people on the ground. And Wake Forest finds the equalizer, and they say 3 goals is the magic lead, but when you do that in one period, it's a little bit more difficult to maintain.
Maryland bench trying to inspire their skaters out on the ice. The Terps played a flawless first period. Wake Forest making all the right adjustments as this game has gone along, and they have come all the way back to tie things up. Puck battle on the boards. Brian Teske dumping it into the offensive end. Faherty back there for Wake Forest. Faherty loses it to Romps. Romps tries to get it deeper into the offensive zone. He finds Duchesne. Duchesne plays it around for Facciano. Facciano facing some pressure there. Gets it out to Romps. Romps with the puck behind the Wake Forest net. Out in front, he was looking for Duchesne. That one deflected by Faherty wide. Teske dumping it in from neutral. Travis Duchesne chases for Maryland. Terps in the middle of a change. Petter back there for the Maryland. He'll dump it back in. Travis Duchesne needs to get off to finish the full line change. Chase Wilson applying the pressure for the Terps. Gets it over to Warner. Blake Warner getting a little bit physical there. And now here comes Wake Forest the other way. It's Grinelli. Grinelli dumps it in from center. Adams goes behind his net to play it. Sean Amon up ahead for Hudrin. Hudrin can't get it past the point, though, kept in by Corwin. Playing it in deeper for Wake Forest, it's Mitchell. Jack Rakowskis there now fighting for the puck. Rakowskis and Mitchell. Squirts out to the point, kept in by McKee. Ross McKee, long-range shot, lots of traffic in front. It's blocked by Amon. Sean Amon with speed. Amon can't quite get around McKee. Hudrin pushes it into the offensive zone, but Wake Forest recovers. Jack Hudrin doesn't get it past McKee there. Here comes McKee, trying to get around Amon. Drop pass there to the side, saved by Adams, and he'll dive on top of it. Exactly 8 minutes to go here in the third period. McKee with some fancy moves to set up a shot there off the stick of Jagger Lucas.
Maryland, they're really running into some command issues right now. They've got to get in the driver's seat. They got to just play with confidence. It seems like they're so depleted right now confidence-wise. They've got to find something that can light a spark under their skates.
Warner and Rosado at the dot here. Rosado with a win. Terps get possession, though. It's Henry Scriven. Scriven can't get it past Albrighton at the point. Andre Serra sends it into neutral. Grant Warner there for Maryland. Warner's got Craven with him. Warner facing some pressure. Warner in front for Ryan Craven. He couldn't get his stick on it in tight.
Should be an icing call.
This puck rolling with enough pace for icing as Andre Serra wins that foot race to the face-off dot. 7:36 left here in the third period. We're tied 3-3 between Maryland and Wake Forest. Shots on net. Terps 28, Demon Deacons 19.
Maryland, they're finding the pulse here offensively. Grant Warner had a great feed to Ryan Craven in front of the net. Maryland looking for more like that.
Warner with a face-off win. Serra at the point. That one intercepted by Albrighton. The other way, here comes Wake Forest. Jesper Snow dumps it into the zone. Henry Scriven talking with his defensive partner, looking for instructions. Finds Tommy Pilkington. Pilkington up ahead for Craven. Ryan Craven handles this puck in the offensive end. Craven out in front for Warner. He couldn't handle it cleanly. The other way, here comes Wake Forest. Rosado from the blue line. Finds only Eli Petter. Petter ahead for Pilkington. Pilkington mishandled that puck for a moment. Now trying to collect it in neutral. It's taken away by Wake Forest. Eli Petter still with the puck. Petter has it taken away by Dowdett. Dowdett, the man who just tied this game, in front. Wake Forest scores. It's tipped in tight by Zach Macy. Landon Dowdett, an individual effort to get it in front of Patty Adams. And Zach Macy pots the lead-taking tally.
There's a lot going on in front of Patrick Adams there, and I think he might have actually been collided with. They didn't call anything, though. Wake Forest takes the lead in Maryland now. They're needing to find something. They've really, the first 7 minutes of this game, of this period, was all Terps. They were able to generate a lot of shots. They're out shooting Wake Forest 28-20 right now. It's not like this is out of reach by any means. Maryland, they need to really get back in it.
This Maryland heavy crowd here at the St. James is stunned with what they've seen so far. After the way this game started for the Terps, everybody thought it was over after the first 20. Wake Forest had other ideas, coming all the way back to take the lead here in the third period. Maryland now needing a hero in Springfield. Up ahead, Harnan trying to go up against Corwin. Schreibman applying more pressure. James Body gets the puck for the Terps. Body to the point for Rakowskis. Rakowskis, long shot, tipped in front. Big save from Tolvey. Sean Amon playing it down low, intercepted there by Wake Forest, and they push it back out into neutral. Sean Amon dumps it into the offensive end. Terps doing a partial change here. Eli Petter leaves it for Facciano. Facciano sends it into the offensive zone. Taken away by Wake Forest. This is Corwin up ahead for Studert. Brian Teskey, fresh off the bench, leaves for Petter. Petter finds a long stretch pass there, or so I thought. It's taken away by Corwin. Liam Corwin sends it into neutral. Eli Petter recollects for the Terps. Petter up ahead for Facciano. Facciano gets around one, then he's taken into the boards there, but Romps has the puck for the Terps. Romps looking for Duchesne in front. That one hits off a couple of sticks and ends up with Wake Forest. This is Danaher for the Demon Deacons. Sends it into the corner where Teskey takes it for Maryland. 5:09 to play here in the third period. Travis Duchesne trying to connect with Romps the other way. He can't quite do it there. Petter up ahead. Wake Forest takes it away again. That time it's Frascone. Eli Petter intercepts in center. Petter trying to play it with Romps up ahead. That was Warner. And he can't. Tommy Pilkington resetting in his own end. Pilkington, who opened the scoring all the way back in the first, leaves for Serra. Serra pushes it over the blue line, but look out here. Here comes Rosado. Rosado near circle. Big save from Adams, and Rosado ran into the goalie afterwards. Andre Serra taking exception to that.
Should be a call there. I believe there's penalty coming up. The official has his hand raised in the corner.
Rosado had an initial hit on Adams. Andre Serra hit Rosado in response. Although I don't know if they're going to catch Rosado for what he did first.
Be floored if they don't make a call. Like, I don't know what. The
and it appears
Serra.
that they're only taking Andre Serra
serious?
off.
You got to be kidding me.
Colin Rosado runs into Patrick Adams after the whistle's blown. Andre Serra defends his netminder, and he's the only one taken off the ice.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand how that's the call you make. He ran into the goalie. I don't know what else you are supposed to call there.
Terps now in need of a big penalty kill here, and they're taking it into neutral. It's like they know they messed this up.
What? I'm very lost with how are you going to call a penalty and then put it in the neutral zone and not even in their own defensive zone?
So Maryland now with a big-time penalty kill here. Eli Petter in the defensive zone trying to clear it. Can't get it past the point. It's held in by McKee. McKee sends it across for Corwin. Corwin down low. Back to the point for McKee. Good stick there from Harnan. Pushes it into neutral. McKee back up ahead. Here come the Demon Deacons yet again. Into the offensive zone. It's Danaher. Travis Duchesne now the other way. Shorthanded. Duchesne trying to get around Corwin. A backhand that goes just wide of Tolvey.
He might have hit the post on that one.
Patrick Harnan was trying to keep on the shorthanded pressure. Good stick work there from Corwin. Deep inside, Travis Duchesne takes it away again. He'll clear this the length of the ice. Patrick Harnan really skating hard here to try to get to this puck. Rosado with it for Wake Forest. Colin Rosado. Pressured there by Warner. He'll leave for Albrighton. Albrighton sends it up ahead for Faherty. Taken away there by Pilkington. Pilkington right at Tolvey. That one took a weird bounce. Tolvey with the stop. Rakowskis, another clear here for the Terps. Another one that goes right to Tolvey. 37 seconds left in the penalty to Andre Serra. Grant Warner applying the shorthanded pressure here. Now coming out of his defensive zone. This is Custable. Adam Custable taking it deep into the offensive end for Wake Forest. Sends it around the boards for Rosado. Rosado down low to Snow. Snow looking for anybody. The only one there is Sean Amon for Maryland. Amon content with clearing this one the length of the ice. Tolvey goes out to play it.
To be fair for Maryland, this was a really good penalty kill. I mean, you're going to assume that they kill it the next 3 seconds, but they really didn't allow a single shot in this penalty kill.
Serra stepped out of the box. Penalty killed by the Terps. Jesper Snow coming in. Saved there from Adams. Patrick Harnan sends it around the boards. Terps need to get this one out of the D zone. Snow behind the net. Snow out in front. Nobody home there on that pass. James Body collecting it for Maryland. Body. He's got Schreibman with him. Body into the offensive zone for Terps. Trying to leave for Harnan. That pass there intercepted by Dowdett. Dowdett the other way for Wake Forest. Can't quite get it past Eli Petter. Teskey now in his own end. You got to start taking a look at Patty Adams, seeing when Joe Carter decides to pull his netminder for the extra skater. Teskey up ahead for Schreibman. That pass pickpocketed by Corwin. Now McKee in his own end. McKee trying to kill time here for the Demon Deacons. Terps trying to get their primary skaters out onto the ice. Wake Forest still with possession, though. The other way, here they come. Shot score.
That'll probably do it.
Jagger Lucas, 5 holes. Patty Adams with 1:37 on the clock. And that is a dagger to Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland, they weren't really able to sustain any type of offensive possession there when they were on the rush, and then you give up a 2-on-2, and I don't want to undermine it. That was an incredible shot by Lucas. A lot of flex on that stick, and like you said, that's likely the dagger here. Maryland now down 2 goals in a game where they were really in the driver's seat for about 50 minutes.
The Terps, after outshooting Wake Forest 15-2 in the first period and outscoring them 3-0, let the Demon Deacons back into this game, and Wake Forest came alive in this third period. 3-goal effort to take a 5-3 lead over Maryland. Terps still trying to fight here. Grant Warner up ahead for Romps. Romps in alone with a shot. Saved by Tolvey. Rebound still loose. Warner pushed off the puck there, and things are getting physical between him and Albrighton. Andre Serra chasing the puck for the Terps. Serra for Pilkington. Pilkington trying to play it up for Romps. That one picked off by Wake Forest. Sean Amon leaves for Warner. Up ahead, it's Romps. Now for Pilkington. Exchanges with Romps as we're below a minute here in the third period. Rakowskis overskates that one for a moment, then is able to push it to Romps. Sean Amon ahead for Pilkington. Pilkington for Warner. Warner takes it in deep, checked into the boards by McKee for his brother Blake. To the point, it's Rakowskis. Rakowskis with a shot. Rebound for Warner, another save for Tolvey. Amon still in front. Warner still in front. Penalty coming up on Wake Forest.
It's likely going to be a little too late. A little too late for Maryland. You get the penalty, but 30 seconds left, so you need pretty much a goal off the face. The penalty's going to be on Amon. No, the penalty's on Wake Forest. So for the Maryland, if they want to pull off what would be a miracle, they would need to pretty much.
Ross McKee assessed an unsportsmanlike behavior penalty.
What they need is a goal practically off the face-off, and then have to hope that they are able to win a face-off and then probably convert a stretch pass and score.
I wonder what McKee did. It's not often you see an unsportsmanlike behavior that occurs while the puck is in play. Warner loses this face-off. Wake Forest clearing it the length of the ice immediately. Tommy Pilkington's got to chase it to make sure it's not an empty net tally. Pilkington tries to find Warner in center. That one taken away by Wake Forest again. Backhand blocked by Teskey, but time's running out. Just 10 seconds left here. Blake Warner sends it ahead. Taken away by Wake Forest. And from body is run into by Albrighton, and Blake Warner's going to defend his teammate. Tommy Albrighton, a cheap shot on James Body right there, and Blake Warner took exception to that one.
Completely unnecessary.
James Body's still down on the ice.
Grabbing his helmet. They're just going to end the game after that. Wake Forest clearing the benches. I think that is extremely unnecessary play to make with 2 seconds left in the game.
They're escorting both Albrighton and Blake Warner off the ice here. As Owen said, the officials tell the clock to run.
It's just a completely unnecessary play. It's a dangerous play to make. Wake Forest is celebrating. I mean, congrats on the win, but congrats on also being a really dirty team for that hit. I mean,
a frustrating one for Maryland. They played a flawless first 20. Then it was all Wake Forest from there. Your final score from Springfield, Demon Deacons 5, Terrapins 3. This presentation of the Maryland Hockey Network on AAU Plus was brought to you by Technical Director Bailey Unchester, color commentator Owen Korzak, and myself, Andy Parr. We here at Maryland Hockey will have one more call for you between George Mason and George Washington on this very ice sheet.
The George Bowl.
The George Bowl will start in a matter of 15 minutes here on AAU Plus. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Have a good night.